So that's the trailer for a new Marvel comic book out today, shining a spotlight on Indigenous superheroes and artists. It marks a major shift in the world of comics. In the past, these characters have often been drawn and written by non-Indigenous creators. But this time, the writers and artists are Indigenous themselves. Among them, an Edmonton illustrator who is a member of the Whitefish Lake First Nation. Kyle Charles drew the story of Dani Moonstar, a telepathic Cheyenne superhero. And Charles joins us now. We've reached him in Edmonton. First off, Kyle, I want to say congratulations. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. Kind of still in shock about it.
Well, tell me about that. What was your reaction when you realized that Marvel really wanted you to be part of this new series?
I thought it was a hoax, a prank. I didn't really think it was real when I first read about it. And it took me until I realized the editor's name that it was actually true.
So they texted you? Is that how you found out that you had the gig?
By email. I seen the email headline, want to draw a Marvel story, and I was just like, oh, who is this? They're fooling around, but it's actually true. It's a huge surprise.
Is it fair to say a bit of a dream come true for you?
Oh, yeah, fair to say that. I've been dreaming of this since I was 3 years old, and to get here now is just very surreal. And like I said, it hasn't really hit me yet. I'm still in shock about it.
So tell us, you say since you were 3 years old, so what role did comics play in your life growing up?
They were my world. They were everything to me. They were my escape. They were what I loved. I loved to read. I loved to draw. You usually, couldn't find me anywhere else, but I was in the same room as you, you know what I mean? Like just head down on the pad, scribbling around.
So let's talk about this. You're representing an Indigenous character. What's the sense of responsibility like for you to be part of this project?
Well, it's very meaningful. You know what I mean? It's our first chance to start telling our stories on a platform that large, and it's huge. So for me, I took it very seriously, and I just try to do my best work on the book.
Okay, give us a taste, for those not familiar with the character of Dani Moonstar and the series. What's it all about?
Dani Moonstar is a member of the New Mutants, who's a popular X-Men team from the 1980s. And Dani Moonstar is a very thoughtful character, very powerful as well. And in the story, she's on the hunt to try and help another new Indigenous mutant who's discovered their powers and kind of got in trouble for it. And she's out to go help them.
So when you came to drawing the character, I mean, the character has been around for a while, but when your turn came to put your mark on it, were you able to draw on people you knew?
I just every Indigenous woman in my life kind of contributed something to the character in some way, subconsciously or consciously. My mother has been a figure in my life who's been so resilient and in the face against all these struggles. And, she's just definitely influenced the character in subtle ways as well. Can
you talk about some of the struggles that you grew up with and are aware of?
I grew up in the inner city and, have a poverty background. And, even when I was in the middle of my comic book career, I had, faced living on the streets. And it was a very tough time. But I just, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And there's nothing else in life that I wanted. So, I had people who would help me out. And, I persevered and got you through really hard work. But, I achieved. So.
Storytelling, of course, such a huge part of Indigenous culture. Were there people that you knew that influenced you in what you're doing now?
Yeah, definitely. Makokum was the first storyteller that I knew. I would have to live with her periodically, and she'd make me a big bowl of beef stew and bannock, and we'd sit at the table and I'd eat. And even when I was done, she would just continue telling me stories, and we'd just sit there for hours, she would just share stories with me. It was very cherished moments.
So now you're the superhero for the next generation. What's it going to be like to be a symbol like this and to be able to pass along some perhaps opportunities and awareness to younger artists?
To me, it's really important. Indigenous youth and giving any kind of inspiration where I can, even if it's just through a comic book, is so special and so important. And I take that responsibility very seriously. So I want to make sure that I do my best. And if I have eyes on me, then I want to make sure that I put my best foot forward.
Let's talk about that, because I understand you have really chosen to focus on your art and to focus on passing along those Indigenous themes. How did you get to this point, and how did you stay true to your vision?
Well, a couple years ago, I was working at mainstream comics and it just wasn't really treating me right. And I'd seen that Indigenous content would need Indigenous creators, and I followed that path. And I've, met some really great people along the way, like Richard Van Camp, who's helped me out a lot. And we worked together on a lot of different projects. And he's been kind of a mentor to me and a leader. And we've got a lot of stuff coming out. And he's just somebody I look up to as well. And yeah, so we're going to be putting out more Indigenous content. And over the years, we're launching Unregistered Studios, which is my comic book publishing company, in partnership with Happy Harbor and Renegade Arts and Entertainment. And we're looking to give a platform to Indigenous creators to tell their stories. So today, the big day, it hits the stands, it becomes available. How are you going to mark the occasion? Well, I'll be working all day up until the signing, and then after the signing, I'll probably just come back to work. Maybe go out for dinner with my mom. But that's pretty much it. Still, though, do you think of that little Indigenous boy or girl who will be looking at this comic like you were when you were 3 years old and see a path forward? Absolutely. I mean, that's, like getting into Marvel is, a big thing for me. But now that the book's coming out, like, it's going to be a big thing to those kids. And I really hope that they read this and get inspired and hopeful. Great work. Congratulations once again. It's historic. And that signed edition is going to be a collector's item. I know it. Thank you so much, Kyle. All right. Thank you. Marvel illustrator Kyle Charles speaking to us from Edmonton.